Hi everyone, I'm Coach Mike and welcome to the first episode of the MindFit Method podcast. I am so excited to be here today with you for multiple reasons. Number one, I can't believe, that a book has come out. The MindFit Method official book is now been released, which is just beyond exciting for me to watch a concept that really began, many years ago, and blossomed into facility, and the facility had to close, and then now has turned into, in many ways, like a phenomenon that's just kind of running all over the country, being led by this book. And I'm also really excited because you have, made a decision to take time out of your day, out of your busy schedule, to be able to spend it with me, to hear about how we can really make an impact on the future of our children. Our children are, tomorrow's leaders, tomorrow's problem solvers. They're the people that are going to cure the diseases of the future and of the present, honestly. And to be able to provide them with an opportunity to be as successful as possible, to me, is so important. I know to so many parents and teachers, it's just as important for them too. So today in the podcast, I'm going to kind of take a little time to introduce you to the MindFit Method, what it is, how it works, and to do a little introduction to myself as well, which is always strange to talk about yourself, but it's exciting. So let's cue the brand new theme song, and I'll be right back.
So the giant question is this: how do we as parents, teachers, school administrators, policymakers, coaches, how do we prepare our kids for a future that doesn't yet exist, all while making them healthier, more creative, more innovative, better problem solvers, and overall successful contributors to society? That is the question, and this podcast has the answers. My name is Coach Mike, and welcome to the MindFit Method podcast.
All right, so episode number one. First, I guess I should start with me because we haven't had the opportunity to meet each other yet. My name is Mike Fancher. Most people know me in the MindFit world as Coach Mike. I am the author of the MindFit Method, and I was the creator and founder of MindFit USA all the way back in 2017. MindFit really came from multiple areas, and over the coming episodes, we're going to go into so many of the different things that kind of, all culminated together to create MindFit. So MindFit is a way of learning in which you utilize high-intensity fitness first to essentially enhance a person's ability to learn and retain information. Now, when I created MindFit, I did it for a very specific purpose. It was used exercise to work the body, which also, while you're working the body, causes so many different types of neurotransmitters and neurochemicals to be released in the brain that essentially primes your brain for learning. And then I went and did it in the world of STEM. So essentially, an hour-long class of MindFit would consist of about 20 minutes on the gym side, 20 to 25 minutes or so, usually about 20, of which out of that 20 minutes, 8 to 14 minutes was actual exercise time. And then from there, they would go into what we called our decompression room, which is essentially, it looked a lot like a classroom, where we would show an extremely inspirational video, stuff that was really cool going on. It could be robots. It could be ways to positively affect the climate. It could be about drones. It could be about coding, what you can do as a future engineer, all of those different worlds. And then they would actually go into our STEM room. So I opened the first MindFit USA in 2017. It was in Sparta, New Jersey. And we had a 5,000 square foot facility. About half of it was fitness, half of it was STEM. We taught everything from coding, 3D printing, aquaponics, hydroponics, drones, green screen, everything that most schools don't have time to teach. And if they do have a STEM program, many times they don't have teachers that are fully versed in that area. which is not to blame the teachers at all. It's not something that teachers tend to come out of school or out of college with a teaching certificate and then know how to code, know how to do 3D design and additive manufacturing in all of those different worlds. So we would supplement it in an after-school program. And it was nothing short of amazing. It was phenomenal. I had the absolute privilege and opportunity to work with probably just over 1,000 kids over the course of us being open. And I watched it have such an amazing impact on kids. So many kids today are, often diagnosed with an ADD, an ADHD, on the autism spectrum, or they're, a kid that loves science, a kid that loves sports. And MindFit brought all that together. I remember one day having a mom come in, she had brought her son in for a trial class. And her son, she told me up front, had a very pretty high level of ADHD. And, she was very frustrated. She said that, she tried different programs and they just weren't working. She was really hoping that this might be something he'd be interested in. And he was young. He was about 5 years old, which was a little younger than we tended to take, new enrollees into the MindFit program. But we did a trial class and he did great on the fitness side. He was intimidated at first, but then did an amazing job. And when he went in on the STEM side, I had invited the mom, please, come through this entire class. Feel free to watch us. You can follow us along if you'd like. But see how he's doing, see what we're doing. And I'll never forget when she came around the corner of the STEM room. And, it's a big STEM room. You got giant, 3-foot tall 3D printers. You've got huge, 7-foot tall hydroponic stations. She comes around the corner and I saw her out of the corner of my eye, but I didn't really make eye contact. And then I heard a strange noise. I didn't know what it was, and it was coming from that direction. So I kind of looked over and she was crying. She was literally just weeping. And I walked over because I was like, oh my gosh, like, what did I do? What happened? I said, are you okay? And she goes, how did you get him to sit? She goes, you're teaching him how to code. He doesn't know how to read. And how did you get him to sit? And, that is the power of the MindFit method. Our bodies were made to move. They were not made to be the stationary individuals that so many of us have become today. Technology has literally engineered movement out of our lives. And this was an amazing, situation where a child was so ready to learn and so ready to be focused on something that they really enjoyed, but they needed an ignition switch first to kind of be fired to, ignite that focus and ignite their attention to detail, attention to coding. And, he was with us for a long time and just did absolutely amazing. So the power of the MindFit method is incredible. And I'm not going to get necessarily into the science today. We'll do that in a later episode. But what it can do is truly nothing short of amazing. A little bit about myself. I am from New Jersey. I still live in New Jersey. I live with my wife and our 3 amazing boys. I have a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 13-year-old. So we're in that lovely world right now of looking at colleges and really trying to decide, which route, especially my oldest, wants to go. And it's an exciting time. But the book coming out and, finally being released, and that, I've never written a book before, so I'm a first-time author. And let me tell you, there were points about 3 months in that I thought the book was done. And then I began working with an editor, and the editor pretty much stripped out, about half of what I had written and had me rewrite so much of it. And then every time I thought I was done, then you'd kind of, realize, nope, you're not done. You still have this to do. You still have this to do. And it has been a long process. but it is one that, honestly, I would recommend to anyone who is passionate about something and really wants to try to convey a message or get a message across or be able to hopefully have an impact on somebody else's life. Because that is the biggest goal of me publishing the book, The MindFit Method. That is what I want more than anything. I want it to be able to have a positive impact on the life of a child, on the life of a parent, of a teacher, of a school administrator, of a policymaker, any of those things. Our children are our future. And to be able to have the opportunity to work with them and guide them to a more successful future it's an honor. It's an honor and an opportunity that I did not want to let slip away. So you might be wondering, what is this podcast going to be about going forward? And I've already laid out about the next 10 episodes of what I'm going to be talking about. Obviously, if you have picked up the book and you've read it, we're going to dive into deeper in a lot of the topics in the book. If you haven't gotten the book, I strongly encourage you to do so. In fact, there's two ways you can get it. You can either go to Amazon.com and you can buy it for $16.99, or you can go to my website, which is www.themindfitmethod.com, and I will actually give you the book for free. I have already purchased you a copy. All that I need you to do is cover the shipping and handling costs. I think it's like $8.95 or something like that. And then you can get your own copy for free in your hands, delivered to your doorstep. This is a real physical book. It's not an ebook. And I would be absolutely honored for you to, read it and be able to apply so many of the different things that we talked about. For upcoming episodes, we're going to go in a couple different places. The next episode, we're actually going to dive into the science behind MindFit a little bit. And again, I don't want to get too technical. This is not a scientific podcast, but there is so much science that backs up all the amazing things that we do at MindFit. Then we're going to go into a little bit about how we work with children, how important it is to not only let kids fail, but to let them fail and then have the opportunity to fix what they failed and to understand why they failed and understand how to make their failure right. Society today is really big about saying we have to let people fail, but then we don't give people the time to actually fix what they failed and make it right. So that is so important. We're going to talk about some of the differences between activity and exercise, and why has exercise become so complicated? It does not need to be. We're going to dumb it down. We're going to make it so simple. We're going to do an episode on how to program exercise. And parents and teachers, this is something that you guys can actually do at home for yourselves. There are worksheets and tools that are inside of the MindFit Method book that will really help you understand how you could exercise for yourself. So if you're someone that is sitting at home, or maybe in the future you have a New Year's resolution coming around the corner, or you made a New Year's resolution 6 months ago that you want to get in shape, well, this is an opportunity to understand how you can do that. Not only how you can do it to help better your ability to learn, retain information, even function at your job, but also to be able to live a healthier lifestyle. We're coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic as I am recording this episode. And, well, we hope we're coming out of it. It seems to just be lingering on and on and on. And every time you turn on the news, there's another variant of this illness. But there is one thing that became very apparent. And in full disclosure, I work full-time as a healthcare executive in the hospital world. And this virus very specifically targeted a certain type of person. And people that were overweight, that were out of shape, that lived unhealthy lifestyles were absolutely at a higher risk of serious complications from COVID. So if there's ever a time, ever in life, to get in better shape, take the initiative, take the steps, but also know what to do, this podcast will help you with that. And it's certainly something, obviously, that you can do with kids to not only help make them healthier, but also help them learn and retain information as well. So I hope you guys have a great day. Take care, be safe, and keep striving for stronger minds and smarter bodies. Thanks, everybody.